Hello again. I'm just finishing up a couple of things on the Porsche before the track day that's coming up. I haven't been able to have the rear bumper off since it got ripped off trying to get the car to the dealership after the alarm problems. So I'm gonna remove that now and then plastic weld old places where the holes got ripped out. I also found some small places underneath the car where the under paneling had some cracks and stuff. So I'm gonna plastic weld those. And after ripping off the bumper, there's also been a problem with a fuse blowing. So I've seen other people having that problem caused by the wires behind the bumper and touching the exhaust and having a short. There's also a tiny bit of rust starting to come here, so I'm also hoping to pull this side skirt down a little bit and sand and paint over the rust a little bit. So then, under paneling, rust, and rear bumper is the projects for today. The under paneling is now out. There's 3 pieces that I took out. They're all attached with 10mm plastic bolts or T25 Torx on the rear part. So I just laid them out underneath the car so it's easy to remember where they were. So the things I'm gonna fix is small stuff like this little hole here. This thing is cracked, and I believe there was one small crack on the rear one too. So onto some plastic welding. It's pretty cool to see how Porsche were doing ducting for cooling already in 2002. There's several places in the under paneling. There's ducts going in like this to cool off various things on the other side. Very cool.
It sound right, boys.
Alright, I filled in both here and here. You can't really put the mesh in here to make it stronger because these pieces is a mix between plastic and like glass fiber-ish compounds. So you can't really melt the mesh in, but if you just fill in plastic and do a double layer and melt everything properly around, then it's strong enough and works super well. So several $100s saved. So now I masked and sanded off all the rust. That was of course more than I was hoping around the plug for the clip here and all the way back to the edge, but I've gotten everything away now, and we'll put on the first coat of primer, and then when I wait for it to dry, I continue with the underpaneling and do that until I've gotten on at least 2 coats of primer, probably 3 of paint and a couple of clear, and then this will at least be protected before the winter and the fall. And then depending on how it looks, I will probably take it to a paint shop next year and make it look perfect. All the underpaneling are completed. There's a few more places to fix than I thought, but here, and this one crack here, and then here, and also here. So then these are ready to be put back on the car, feeling strong and looking good. And I'm also done with 2 coats of primer here, so I'm just gonna do 3 coats of paint and then 2 coats of clear, and then I'm done with all the underside. So then I guess I will start to take off the bumper. Getting off the rear bumper should be pretty easy. Just take off the 2 bolts holding the rear lights. It's torque T25. Then there's a bolt in there, under here, here, and here, and same on the other side. They're all either Torx or Phillips.
It sound right, boys.
All the screws are not there, and some of them were switched, and here you can see that all these things are ruined, so I need to change them, but it should be a pretty easy job. Alright, bumper's off. This is the first time I see the car with no rear bumper. Marski ain't the coolish. It's looking pretty good. Alright. Okay, so the problem with the fuse was a lot easier than I was even hoping for. These weren't plugged in, so they were just laying here behind, shorting on the bar. They weren't even plugged in, so that kind of explains a lot. Okay, that was easy then. Now I can just plastic weld the bumper and then put this all back together with the proper screws. Okay, I'm pretty tired. But I am done with everything I'm doing today. And I managed to do actually more than I hoped. I took the lightsabers off because they were touching a few places on the car, so I filed off a little bit with this metal file and painted them black again, so now they fit even better. All these panels are plastic welded and completely done. The rear bumper is also done plastic welded. It actually turned out really good, I think. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 places. 2 of the places I actually put the mesh or the steel mesh wires into to make it stronger, because here it was kind of bending the wrong way. So I attached one side first, then the other. This is actually the only place you can see that the bumper was ripped off. There's a small crack here. And on this part there was also a crack, so I used a ton of mesh, steel mesh inside here. Reattached the wires, duct tape the wires so they won't move around too much. So now the fuse should not go out. And found out that the bracket here was not broken, just need to be bent out a little bit, so that everything works there. And the final thing was painting here. Done 2 coats primer, 3 coats of paint, 2 coats of clear, and I have a feeling it's not gonna look very good, but at least it's done for the winter. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna take it to a paint shop and let them do it over again in the spring, or sometime when I'm not using the car as much, or have the time or opportunity to put it out. So everything is completely done today. So I'm just gonna let the paint dry overnight and then put everything back on the car tomorrow. Everything is now put back together, and the car is looking very good. You can see a small crack here, but besides that, the fit of the bumper and how it looks is perfect. All the under paneling is back on. Paint job is not great, but it looks better than it did before, and it will stop it from developing more rust, so it's doing its job. The rear lights work and the fuse does not blow, so that's good. And lightsabers fit a lot better, and you cannot see any damage on the bumper at all. So, job completed.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.